This next dream theme is one that I encounter quite a lot also as a dream interpreter. I've had a number of these dreams. You have missed class all semester, and then you show up and you're suddenly frantically trying to figure out how do you face the test that you haven't been to class, you haven't been to class all semester, and now you walk in and it's the day of final exams. Or that's one of the themes that dreams can begin with. But the general idea is that you've missed class all semester. Well, what could that mean? I like to simplify my dreams down. It's one of the 4 quick keys for dream analysis. You take the story and break it down to its sort of simplest statement or question that could be behind it, that's presented by the dream. So if you've missed class all semester, you might begin with the basic idea that class can symbolize an area of skill or knowledge. So if you have missed class, it can mean that you're missing something in an area of skill or knowledge. So let's look at some other possibilities. If you've missed class, it can mean that you're lacking in an area of knowledge or skill. It can mean that something important needs your attention. You think about this scenario that's just been created here by the dream. You've missed class all semester. Okay, the class is something important. It's something important that needs your attention. It can mean that you are unprepared for something. That's the simple idea. You walk into the classroom and you've missed class all semester. It means that you're unprepared. You walk in, you don't know what you're doing. Also, think of it as a simple expression of fear of failure. You've just been dropped into this scenario where you've missed class all semester. Now you have to come in and face the test, or the teacher starts asking you questions. And, what are you supposed to do? Well, remember that it could be something specific that you fear failure of, or it could be that general feeling. You're going to analyze your life. And if you find something specific that you go, oh, yeah, okay, recently that came up where I feel there was some kind of fear of failure that came up. Now you found a correlation between your waking life and your dreaming life. Or if you don't find that, the next step in the questioning process is, what general ways do I fear failure? Now, keep in mind that the dream is going to point you that direction, or you are going to react while dreaming that this fear is going to come up, or there's going to be a thought related to it that goes through your mind. If that is not part of how you react to the dream, or it's not expressed somehow in a detail of the dream, such as the teacher saying, oh, hey, thanks for showing up. It's the end of the semester and it's final exams, and yeah, you fail. If that's not a detail of the dream or something like that, and you don't react by fearing failure, well, that's probably not what the dream scenario really is about. So if you've missed class all semester, start with the idea of something is missing. That could be what the dream is really about. And if something is missing, well, ask yourself, what is missing from you? It could be something that's an area of knowledge or skill. It could be something that's missing from your personality or your character. What do you need now in your life? That is a very important question to answer, because the dream is somehow speaking to what's going on right now in your life. Here's another dream theme related to school that's fairly common: searching for a classroom or for the school itself. Now, dreams can sometimes pull in ideas and subjects that are only, it's related through association. It's kind of, you have to reach kind of far to find what association that the dream is really using that becomes the underlying basis of the story, the scenario that it creates. And here's a kind of a clever variation on the idea. You're searching for a classroom. The classroom is a place where you belong. It's the place where you're supposed to be. So you could ask yourself a question when you reflect on your recent life is, are you searching for where you belong? It could be a general feeling of belonging somewhere, or it could be something that's specific. And remember that dreams will create these specific details when they need to. I gave the English class or English test example earlier. If the dream is that specific about what kind of test it is, there's a reason for it. So, for example, the class is, you're looking not just for any classroom, you're looking for a specific classroom. You are looking for the health class. Okay, well, are you looking for ways of being healthier? Are you looking for help with your health? Are you looking for knowledge or information that's related to it? And then go further is, could that be a place where you belong? Like, for example, I see this in Tucson a lot where we have packs of bike riders who go through the town. It's a great town for biking, especially long distance biking. And you'll see them running around in these groups of, 5, 10 or more bikers. And sometimes I look at them as I'm driving past them and I think to myself, it's good that you all have found this activity that you can do together. It's the place where the individuals feel like they belong because they're part of a group. Why are they out there biking? Well, because it's a healthy activity. So they have a personal thing related to health. They're biking because they want to improve their health, some of them at least. And then also they could be biking because, at least in part, because they enjoy it as a group activity. Think also of a classroom could mean the right place for me. In the dream, you are searching for the classroom. The classroom is a place. Well, I call that a physical representation of a personal situation. The personal situation is you are looking for the right place for you, the place where you belong, perhaps, and it shows it to you as a physical location. But what you're really looking for is the place inside of you, or the place in your life, the people, the peer group, something like that, where you belong. I have found this theme of searching for a classroom or school, this dream theme, quite often in the dreams of people who get into the work field for which they studied and they realize that something's lacking. They're in the wrong field. That could be shown in a dream as being in the wrong classroom or being unable to find the right classroom. So, in a sense, you could say that the dream is saying that you are in the wrong place and you are in the wrong field of work. That's a possibility. Also consider how classes and subjects of study go hand in hand. Okay, so if you are looking for a classroom, it can symbolize looking for some particular knowledge or ability. The dream is likely in this case to be specific about what type of classroom that you are looking for. It's going to show you through that detail specifically what kind of knowledge or ability that you are actually looking for. So, for example, looking for a psychology classroom could mean that you want to better understand your personal psychology. Or it could mean that you want to understand how people work inside, the psychology of how their minds work and how they work as people. Psychology is the study of the inner workings of people. It can also branch out to include things like social psychology and mass psychology, which is how people work in groups. So you have a dream that you are looking for the psychology classroom, and then you look at your life and you ask yourself, am I trying to understand the psychology of people, something related to the psychology of a group situation? That's a possibility. As you go through dream interpretation, it's really a process of questioning and answering. The dream details will give you ideas, or you will get ideas by analyzing those details about what kinds of questions to ask that then lead you to the answers. Another common dream theme involving school is you need more classes to graduate. The dream creates a scenario where you need more classes. And what could it mean? What could it be speaking to in your life? Well, I start off with this simple idea. Okay, unprepared. If you need more classes to graduate, there is some place that you are trying to get to in your life and you are unprepared for it, or you need more to get there. You need more learning or knowledge or information, or there could be more steps that you have to take to be able to get to this place that you're trying to get to in your life. It's more, it could be about more than just academic preparation. You could think in terms of fully ready to enter the work world. That's a play that I'm going to give this as an example, not as it's that that's automatically what it's going to mean. But this is just one of the ways I'm trying to teach you how to think about the dreams creating a story. What could the story actually speak to? What is the hidden meaning that is behind it? So here's the example is you are fully prepared for what comes next in your life. If you need more classes, classes are preparation. What happens after you get enough classes? You move on to what comes next. There could be something that's not academic related, but more personally related, but it's going to connect somehow, such as skills and abilities that you need to be able to move on to feel like you're fully prepared. So it could be, for example, time management. If you're making that transition into the work world or into a new area of work, just for example, you might find that there is something missing from you personally, and it could be time management or networking. This is a skill that people need to master to be able to work their way through certain environments, work environments. Networking can be very important in some work environments or in some work fields, and that might not come naturally to some people. And if it doesn't come naturally for them, or they feel unprepared, or they need more skills and abilities for, let's say, networking, then they could dream about it as needing more classes. To graduate means now I feel prepared. So think in general terms to begin with. More learning or preparation or something is needed. The classes represent something. Graduation is the goal. You are trying to get to the goal. You need more of something to get to that goal. It could be more learning, but it could be other things. I have found this dream in my own dream life quite a lot, this theme, when I encounter something that exposes gaps in my knowledge. I need more classes to graduate. I had this pop up in my dreams when I was writing my first book, Dreams 1, 2, 3. I have a background as a writer and I've worked in media. I did it for many years. I felt pretty confident in my writing abilities and skills, but when I was writing this long form manuscript, something book length, I had never done that before, at least not as nonfiction. And being able to organize and present all of that material was a real challenge. So as I met that challenge, I felt unprepared for it. I started dreaming about being back in school and needing more classes to graduate. Finishing the book and having the skills and abilities to finish the book that was the goal. And so the dream took that basic idea, and then it told a story about it as needing more classes in order to be able to graduate. In other words, I needed more skills and abilities that I didn't have while writing the book in order to be able to complete that project. when I was a guest on Coast to Coast AM back in 2017, I was interviewed by the host, George Norrie. Coast to Coast AM is a very popular overnight radio talk show. I think it's the largest one in the country is in terms of the audience. And so George Norrie is a very well-known radio host. He also hosts a television show. And he told me during that interview about a dream that he had when after he was nearing graduate, or actually had just graduated from broadcasting school, and he was entering into his the beginning of his career as a broadcaster. And he told me that he had this recurring dream theme that he hadn't actually graduated and that he needed more classes. And as something that had happened so long, at least it was probably 30 years before, that interview, that he had experienced this recurring dream theme, it was maybe a little more difficult to find exactly what was going on in his life at the time that the dream was then creating this recurring theme around. But with my background and having had a number of these dreams myself, I was able to say, well, George, that's a common dream theme when you feel like you're unprepared for what comes next. You have your degree in broadcasting, but that doesn't mean that you're fully prepared for your career or to begin your career in broadcasting. You might have felt unprepared, and then that was expressed in the dream. George said that the dreams got so bad that he had to start going to bed with his college diploma on his nightstand. And I found that to be a very clever way of responding to the dream. It might simply be that he needed some kind of reassurance to himself that he really was ready to begin his career, and that the degree represents all that preparation and time that he put in. So keeping it by his nightstand or on his nightstand was a clever way of responding to what the dream is really exposing or amplifying. It's showing that he feels unprepared, so he has that degree to look at and say, I've really done everything that I can to prepare, and I just have to plow forward.